Happy hello to you friends, I hope you are doing well. If you are new here, my name is Arty and welcome to a new video. So today I thought we could talk a little bit about art style, which we have done before. If you've been around, you know I've done a video about this before, but this is just a bit different this time because last time, right, that was mostly just talking about characters, like my style of drawing characters, and specifically the drawing aspect, not coloring or rendering or shading. It was just mostly about how I drew a subject, like how I drew the eyes, how like cartoony or how realistic I drew things. It wasn't really about the coloring or the rendering, which is what we're talking about this time, because this time it's specifically I figured out a new style. Guys, I have a new style. It was mostly about painting. It stemmed from my gouache paintings, which I have been doing a lot of recently. When I was coming to painting and coloring and rendering, I never really had a style. It was always kind of just figuring it out. And it was never really consistent across all of my paintings. I was trying a lot of different things. I kind of had an idea of what I liked, but I never really stuck to one sort of style. But now we kind of have, which is very exciting. If you haven't seen my recent videos, which you should totally go watch, by the way, I'll link a couple up in the corner. But yeah, so this kind of started when I started painting dragons, and it was with gouache, and I have a favorite brush. It's a small brush, and it makes very good lines and dots, and I really liked doing the lines and dots, and I really liked creating form with the lines and dots, and that has kind of just bloomed. That sounds strange. It's kind of just grown into its own style as a whole, which is really fun. And this new style with painting has kind of covers both areas. Like, it kind of impacts how I draw as well as how I color. But yeah, it's very exciting. I am so excited about this. So because of this new style, I had only really done this style one, traditionally, so only on paper, on wood, my usual sketchbook stuff. I've only ever done it there. And two, without line art. It had always been without line art because it never really needed it. So I had never really implemented this coloring painting style into my digital work, which is actually how I will be doing all of the artwork for my graphic novels that I'm working on, which, if you didn't know, is like the whole reason for this channel. It's kind of like to document my experience turning my story into a graphic novel series. So what I'm doing in this video is actually trying to implement that style in with my drawing style with the line art. So I was kind of just figuring out how I would paint or illustrate a scene with those two styles together. So what I kind of decided to do, because before I had always kind of done line art across the whole image. Maybe I'll put some of my old artwork on screen, but you'll notice that I lined the trees, I lined the bushes, as well as Moss and Puppy, the two characters. So because what I've been doing traditionally with this painting style, because it doesn't really need line art to look like a form, I thought I could kind of go a traditional animated Studio Ghibli sort of style, where just the main subjects of a scene are lined, like the characters or maybe an object that the character is holding. Just those parts would be lined, but the entire environment surrounding them wouldn't be lined. It would just be rendered with the style, with the painting style. Oops. So that's what I'm doing here. I wanted to see if I could make it work, and I think I did make it work, but I would love to hear you guys' opinions on it. But yeah, I had a lot of fun with this painting actually. Painting? Well, yeah, I suppose it's a painting, isn't it? I mean, it's digital, but it's still a painting. Yeah, it's a painting, it's fine. But yeah, so also what I have usually been doing up until this point, I have been using a lot of stamp brushes, which I had downloaded for free and sometimes with a donation from myself to the creator, off of Gumroad? I can't remember. Editing Arty, could you put it on screen please what it's called? I can't remember what it's called. But you can get a lot of really amazing, talented artists and creators make Procreate and other drawing software brushes that you can download, usually for free, and it's just an option to give a donation if you want to. I do when I can, sometimes I can't, but I do when I can because these guys are so talented and so generous for letting us download their brushes to use. So I have quite a few of those, and mostly it's nature brushes like grass, bushes, tree lines, stuff like that, which is really handy for doing sketches and for doing quick drawings, which I do think I will use when I really get into making my graphic novels, illustrating the graphic novels. I think I will use a lot of stamp brushes to help move that process along, because it would take an extremely long time to do all of that individually. But with this art style, obviously traditionally you don't have that. So as part of the art style are lots of lines and lots of dots, which means like doing like lots of grass blades or doing lots of foliage with lots of lines and dots, which I really like the look of. So this painting is different to my older paintings digitally because I'm not using any of those stamp brushes. So that was interesting, and I also found it really fun. Like, I really liked doing that actually. And before I continue, I will quickly explain what I'm doing in the video right now. So, okay, it's just what helped me when rendering. I would do this traditionally if it wouldn't leave marks on the paper, but I had to put an arrow on the screen to remind myself where the light was coming from, because if I don't do that, I will kind of just zone out while I'm painting and just do willy-nilly with the lighting and the shadows. So that's just what that's for. But also, before I keep talking, I want to quickly plug my Instagram and also YouTube Shorts. If you want to see kind of the development of this art style that I'm using here, or trying to implement best here, you should definitely go check out my Instagram Reels and my YouTube Shorts. They're the same either way, so whichever suits you, just go there. But it's I kind of did the first painting with this style as a short. Well, originally it was a TikTok, but I don't do TikTok anymore because of reasons. You can also go check out a YouTube short / reel explaining why. But you actually see this art style develop through my content. So if you want to see that, definitely go check out those. It's just Arty Gardener Studios, all one word. It's on the screen for you. So yeah, go check that out. So yeah, getting back to the painting, I want to talk about the brushes that I used. So none of the brushes that I used were downloaded or not available with Procreate. So all of the brushes are with Procreate. A couple are from the recent Procreate update. So they're in the new library. When you go into brushes, you can go into libraries, and it's with the Procreate. It's in the Procreate library. Hold on, let me get the list real quick. Okay, so not including the pencil that I used for doing the sketch, all of the brushes that I use are actually part of the Procreate library, which is the new one. The other one, the original one, is called the Classic library. I thought I used some of the classic brushes, but no, they're all the new Procreate ones. So I'll let you know which ones those are. So first, it's Olive, which I believe is available in paints, oils. It's in oils, and I did edit it a bit. I took away the opacity and just made the pressure with the Apple Pencil primarily to do with the size of the brush. Then I also used Peacock, which is also in paints, which I only really used for the rocks because it's got quite an angular brush shape, which I really like using for rocks and mountains and sort of those sort of harsh like edges. And I also used Gatsby, which is one of the gouache brushes, which I used for most of the texturing. I use it here for the grass, and I use it on the trees as well. Okay, so I did actually use two download. Oh, I completely forgot. My bad. I did use two downloaded brushes from Devin Elle Kurtz. In there. Hold on, let me get it. Hold on. Bear with me. I don't know the name of the downloadable set. I'll get it and I'll put it on screen. But I used Grass Block-In Original. No, Grass Block-In 2. I used Grass Block-In 2 to kind of block in the shadows on the grass. And I also used the ground brush to put in some of the shadows on the path. And I think that's everything. And I used this texture brush. You see right here, I'm using a texture brush to kind of put lots and lots of dots in the background. And I have no idea where I got that from. I'm sorry. I don't know where that's from. I don't know if it's part of Procreate or if I downloaded it from somewhere. I'm not sure. I don't know. But yeah, those are all the brushes. But what I wanted to talk about, I'm starting to run out of time here. What I wanted to talk about is choosing the brush for the gouache sort of style for the trees and the grass and the dots and everything like that. So I knew that because the original style painting traditionally is with gouache, so I went straight to the gouache set in the Procreate library to try and find something that I thought would work. And I wanted something to be really rounded because the brush that I use in real life is really round. It's just a simple round brush. It doesn't have any taper. It is just a straight round brush. But yeah, I'm really happy with this painting. Let me know what you guys think about this painting, whether you like it, whether you think something should change. Let me know. And we are starting to reach the end of the video now. Yeah, like I already said, I'm a bit of a broken record, but I really like this painting. I do think I need to work on my lighting skills, like how I illustrate lighting. I think I need to work on that a bit more. The shadows aren't too bad, but the lighting, whether that's hard or soft lighting, I think I need to work on that a little bit more. But yeah. And just to finish up, I'm just going to let you know about my Etsy store. So if you didn't know, my past few videos have been about me creating artwork for Etsy, and there are still many more to come. My Etsy store will be opening at 10 a.m. on the 24th of June this year. So it's very exciting, and I hope you guys like my work enough to consider purchasing a piece. There will be prints in 3 different sizes. There will be notebooks, there will be greeting cards, and also a tote bag. So yes, get excited, 24th of June, write it down. And that is everything for now. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you all have a wonderful day or night wherever you are, and I will see you all next time. Bye!